It's taken a while to get to the gold at the end of the rainbow. The Wendy's ketchup pumps are definitely empty, and the caramel apple wasn't sour because it wasn't green. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're just going to be talking about a few topics. I want to dive into the fact that they're going to be removing Zeb Wells from the Amazing Spider-Man comic story that began in 2022. So far, I've made a review for almost every issue besides like the first 6 because I guess at the time I just kind of didn't care. It seems that issue 58 is going to be the beginning of the end of this last story arc that Zeb Wells is going to write for the Amazing Spider-Man. I'm definitely glad that they're changing the writer because I'm getting very tired of the story. Yeah, I'm for sure reading it, I'm purchasing it, I'm part of the problem, but I like making reviews for you people. Also, I figured it would be fun to start reading the Amazing Spider-Man because of all the new characters that they introduced through this comic run. Well, not specifically this comic run, but just in general the Amazing Spider-Man comics. They like introducing cool characters, and I figured, hey, let's jump right into it and get ourselves a first appearance of a cool character, you know? For sure, there's been quite a few of those in this comic run. They haven't been particularly interesting. Specifically, the only one that does come to mind at the moment would be like Hallows Eve. Now, you might be wondering, hey, you just forgot the Spider Goblin, the brand new Spider Goblin. Well, fact of the matter is, yeah, it's a introduction to a brand new version of Spider-Man, the Spider Goblin. It's not really anything anyone was asking for, although I do want to state that it's a very crazy take on Spider-Man. Like, hey, let's just make him the Green Goblin and see where that goes. Now we're getting to our epic conclusion with the Spider Goblin story. Now, once that's over, Joe Kelly and Justina Ireland are going to be taking over the Amazing Spider-Man story, at least for the next subsequent 10 issues, in which they're going to be telling the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man storyline. This will definitely be a breath of fresh air for anyone that just specifically reads the Amazing Spider-Man comics like a religion. Now, hopefully they treat Spider-Man right in this storyline. I'm not trying to get them treating Spider-Man like they've been treating him this entire 2022 volume run. If you want to get an idea of how they've been treating Spider-Man, go check out my most recent Blood Hunt review. It's just a tie-in issue to a vampire story they're doing overall, and there's a specific part in that story where the random civilian that gets turned into a vampire who owns this specific business just blames Spider-Man for just not being there on time to save this guy. The story was immensely dry, just like KFC chicken. And that's sort of how this entire volume run since 22 has been feeling. Just immensely dry, nothing in particular that has been interesting, and anything that has been interesting because it seems like it's like watching a car wreck, you know? Spider-Man in his Spider-Mobile is going like 100 miles an hour towards this brick wall, and the moment he makes that impact, we're getting that full-on slow motion, ladies and gentlemen. Marvel has been releasing Spider-Man Shadow of the Green Goblin, which has been a tremendous story, and sure, I can definitely just stick to reading that, but those are the kind of stories that I definitely want to be reading in the Amazing Spider-Man comic run. Ones that make you want to legitimately connect with the character, you know? So hopefully we get a little bit of that with the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. Apparently Joe Kelly, one of the writers, is a writer from Ben 10. I haven't seen Ben 10 personally myself, and I don't really intend to, but if you've seen it, let me know if it's good. The Spectacular Spider-Man comic run released 2024 is a pretty good example of a comic run that's just written pretty good by someone that also worked on a Spider-Man cartoon. Now in the other case, we got a Ben 10 writer, but maybe it works. Greg Weisman, who worked on the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon series, and that series was pretty damn good, is currently working on the Spectacular Spider-Man comic featuring just Spider-Man and Miles Morales. That's another story I'm currently following. It's pretty damn good. Again, that's one of the stories that would be really cool if we just got in the Amazing Spider-Man, you know? I would love to know the general consensus over what people think about the Spider-Goblin character right now. It's definitely one of the most unique characters we've gotten so far, and for that, a very unique concept, but the writing has been, as I've mentioned, drier than a KFC chicken. Who knows how the story is going to get concluded. As of the making of the video, we haven't gotten the last issue conclusion, so let's wait and see what happens. The story arc in the Amazing Spider-Man 2022 that has felt like the biggest car wreck that, you know, what you get to watch in slow motion, is definitely the one spanning issues number 21 and 26. For me, it felt very similar to a Since Past storyline, except not to that extent. It read more like they turned that Lobster Man storyline that MJ was going through her acting phase in the early 2000s, but in a more expanded version of it. If you read the storyline, you get what I'm talking about. And if you read this new storyline, you kind of have an idea. At least I can say that the Ultimate Spider-Man series is going very well. Please don't replace that writer. We really need our boy Jonathan Hickman to carry this character in the Ultimate Universe. Speaking of the Ultimate Universe, that's definitely a topic for another video. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video at any point, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.